At the beginning of the film, an accident is described. It informs us of the survival of two brothers. However, their parents perished in a car accident, and we later see the same brothers. They formerly resided in a remote forest cabin, and there is no one nearby. They used to engage in the activity known as SlapFace together, and they used to slap each other. They appear to be punishing each other. They believe their parents died as a result of them. Tom used to look after his younger brother Lucas. He used to work in a local construction company, and Lucas used to sweep the house after doing his household chores. He visits a local library to read. Meanwhile, he read on the internet that people believe that there's a building nearby in which a witch lives. People have seen her with their own eyes. And the building was quite close to Lucas's house. Following that, a detective arrives and encounters Lucas at the same building. The detective warns Tom that no one should approach that building. We notice some girls teasing Lucas the next day. They teased him because they thought he had taken something from them. They give him two options: return their stolen dress, or to go into that building and see what's on the inside. It is well known that a witch dwells there, that you must check after you arrive to see whether any witches reside there. Lucas was a brave young man, and he entered the building. Meanwhile, he is held captive by the witch who was inside the building, and he faints. He was with a girl as he regained his senses. She was one of the bullies who teased Lucas. Tom, on the other hand, meets a girl and impresses her. Later, the girl joins him at his home. Anna finds some marks on Lucas' arms when he returns home. The witch has made these scares on Lucas. Lucas returns to the building the next day, and when he arrives, he discovers the witch's footprints, because Lucas was still unsure whether or not he had seen the witch. Later on, we see Lucas racing through the woods, but the witch has him again, and Lucas isn't frightened to see the witch. He appears to be obsessed with the witch. He later witnesses sunset with the witch. Lucas seemed to be as content with the witch as he is with his mother. Anna then shows Lucas a witchcraft locket in the next scene, and Lucas becomes interested in witchcraft. Lucas discovers a gun that belonged to his parents the next day. He departs for the forest to hunt the witch after taking the gun. However, the witch was looking after Lucas in the jungle. Some dogs pursue Lucas, but the witch captures him and tears him apart. When Lucas sees this, he believes the witch is looking after him. When Lucas returned, Witch and Lucas buried the dog. Anna notices him washing his bloody clothes. Anna and Tom try to discover what Lucas is up to these days. Lucas doesn't say anything to him, but Anna tells Tom they should look after Lucas, she believes. Tim does not believe Lucas has been enslaved by witchcraft. That's why he doesn't seem to notice Anna. The witch then appears in front of Lucas' house the next day, and she scratches Anna's car, which Anna tells Tom to believe on this. But because Tom is skeptical of her, Lucas brings his friend in the witch home. He promises her that she will not be hurt, but his friend was terrified. She didn't go there, and the witch had seen them from afar. Anna notices a girl putting on posters of a lost puppy. Anna believes Lucas washed blood that day, possibly the blood of that dog, which Lucas was washing that day. We later learn that the witches arrived at Lucas' house. When there was no one else, she brought their family photos to throw. Meanwhile, Anna enters and searches Lucas' room for finding proof. As a result, she can confirm Lucas' current actions. Meanwhile, she has the impression that something is present in the house. Meanwhile, she witnesses a witch attacking Anna. She takes Anna with her, and Lucas comes in the meantime. When Lucas notices the scratches on Anna's car, he knows the witch has arrived. When he enters the house, he notices the dog's missing poster. He throws the poster to the ground so Tom couldn't notice. Meanwhile, he has doubts about the witch has taken Anna. Lucas and Tom were concerned for Anna and set out to find her. But meanwhile, Lucas informs his brother Tom that he believes the witch has taken her. Tom doesn't believe him. Tom drinks heavily the next night and says that our parents did not die because of us. They died in a vehicle accident, yet everyone held them accountable for their deaths, and Lucas is well aware of this. Meanwhile, a friend of Lucas approaches him, and they begin to talk. Meanwhile, they hear Tom scream. When they walk inside to investigate, they find Tom capturing a rat. Tom is unable to catch it, so Lucas graduates and kills it severely. When Lucas's friend notices this, she is unconcerned and moves on. We witness Tom go to work the next morning, and the witch visits Lucas and spends time with him. She requests that he shatter their family photographs. He feels relieved after breaking them. And the witch also wants Lucas to forget about his family. Later, the witch tries on Lucas's mother's clothes. Lucas is upset and asks the witch to put this dress aside. It is my mother's dress. Meanwhile, Tom enters, and Lucas hides the witch in the cupboard. When Tom arrives, he notices the family photos that have been broken. It was their rule that anyone who made a mistake would be penalized equally. They start playing the SlapFace game again. While Tom was beating Lucas in the game, the witch was also in pain and came to beat Tom. Lucas learns to adore Tom in front of the witch. As a result, the witch believes he loves Tom and will not harm him. Meanwhile, the witch goes from there. Lucas notices some strange flowers belonging to a witch the next day. Lucas decides to pursue them, and in doing so, he comes across Anna's body. Lucas has deduced that Anna was murdered by a witch. Meanwhile, some girls approach Lucas and tease him. The girls go looking for Lucas and his friend, witch, who follows them and throws a stone at her head. As a result, Lucas's friend dies, and Lucas gets devastated. Because the witch had murdered Lucas's loved ones, Lucas is unconcerned, and hatred for the witch grows in his heart. When Lucas sees the witch, he tries to harm her. But the witch doesn't harm, and he goes to the police. He meets a detective who tells him about his father. He claims that your father beat your mother, and that this is why he died. You also continued to be angry and used to break things. Lucas claims that I was asked to do something by someone else. According to the detective, you could be the perpetrator. We learn that Lucas was the one who first noticed the witch. When Lucas awoke the next day, the police station had been completely destroyed. All of the police officers who had been killed by the witch had died. Meanwhile, the witch appears, and Lucas asks her to leave him alone. In the meantime, Tom arrives and sees the witch. Tom slaps the witch after Lucas asks him to. Meanwhile, the witch appears to be injuring Tom. Meanwhile, we watch as Lucas, while scaring, he starts firing her, but she remains unharmed. Tom is hit by every round in the pistol. When the witch approaches him, he staggers her to death. Meanwhile, he discovers that Tom has also perished. And Lucas has had the misfortune when the police come. They believe Lucas has killed his brother. Tom and Lucas had a nasty reputation in the eyes of the police. Later, Lucas experiences trauma and blames the witch for it. It's possible that the witch does not exist at all. The film ends here. Thanks for watching the movie. Please hit the subscribe button below.